Thank you very much, Deputy First Minister. If I could invite you to remain on the platform, and we'll now open the floor to questions. I think there are roving mics going, so if I could ask you to just give your name and the organisation you're from. Thank you. There's a gentleman here.
You wouldn't mind standing as well.
Okay. Jonathan Sinclair from Bond Search and Selection. Mr. McGuinness, you mentioned corporation tax parity in your speech. I just wondered what your thoughts were on where we are in achieving that. Also, if you would see it being applied equally across businesses of all sizes and natures in Northern Ireland if it were achieved. And also, if you would favour a phased introduction or if you would see it as a one-off introduction, an immediate introduction.
Well, I mean, this is a debate which we in Sinn Féin led on a couple of years ago. We were the people who argued, and others were nervous about it. But now we have a situation where all parties on the executive have signed up to the need to ensure that we have a level of corporation tax that allows us to compete. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous that we have a situation where the levels of there's such a disparity between the levels of corporation tax between the north and the south, with the south at 12.5%. So that is a debate that Owen Patterson, the Secretary of State, has joined. Well, I have to say prior to him becoming Secretary of State, but since that with some considerable energy. We've been involved in very interesting discussions with people from the Treasury. The initial ones weren't heartening because we were actually at a meeting on one occasion in the Cabinet Office in London where there was open disagreement between the Treasury and the NIO in relation to the lowering of corporation tax in the north. But the ability to vary corporation tax as part of a range of measures is an essential tool which the Executive and the Assembly, I think, can use to rebalance the economy. For us, the transferring of powers is the most important thing. Then we can deal with the actual rate itself once we get that. We want to see the harmonisation of taxation and regulation policy across the island, and having this ability to vary corporation tax will allow the Executive to send out, I think, a very strong message that the North is really open for business big time and will help us create the right environment to attract investment. It's out for consultation at the moment, and obviously everybody has an opportunity to contribute to that consultation. There is a tough negotiation taking place between ourselves and the British government. The terms have to be right. This isn't something that we're going to rush foolishly into if the terms are not right, because there's a lot of debate around how this will impact on the block grant. So this will be an ongoing negotiation right into the formation of the new Executive. And I hope that if the terms are right, and they're terms that we can live with, that we will see the ability to vary corporation tax handed to us. If it's on the right terms, I believe that it will bring thousands and thousands of new jobs to the north. So it is something that we are very, very keenly interested in. It's not a silver bullet, but it will send a very, very important message internationally about our support for developing the economy and supporting business, particularly the foreign direct investors, of which we have met many in the course of recent times, and all of whom we've spoken to have clearly indicated that if we had a lower rate of corporation tax, they would be even more interested in investing than they are at the moment.
Okay, can I invite a question from Martin?
It's like the pantomime. It's always behind you. Martin, well, you're Belfast Media Group and Irish Echo. I think, first of all, it's sort of surreal to be in the NYSE Euronext offices in Belfast, and our offices in New York. We walk past the New York Stock Exchange every day, and a few years ago it would have been unimaginable that they would have such a huge base in Belfast. But my question's again about taxation. The Continental or United link between Belfast and Newark carries a punitive tax, which it may be too strong to say it puts that service in peril, but it certainly puts a question mark over it. And I'm wondering, can we square that circle? Can we help remove that tax? Are we having any success in that? And can we make this link sustainable?
Well, without going into too much detail, there have been a lot of discussions involving Peter Robinson, myself, Arlene Foster, people in London. I think we will resolve the situation to our satisfaction. Let me put it like that.
Sorry, there was one here first. We'll let you and then Martin go here first.
Martin, how you doing? My name's Brendan Dwyer. I'm a partner in a accountancy firm here in Belfast. We employ over 50 people. I picked up a sense of frustration at times in your speech there, mainly because you have London and there's things I feel that you would like to do here, but you can't because of the relationship with Westminster. And I was wondering, what are the top one or two things? If you could say, well, these are the two things I want you to be able, me to be able to do. What are the two things that you think are the most important here in Northern Ireland?
Well, I mean, of immediate interest is obviously the debate around corporation tax and getting an agreement with London on how that will impact on our block grant. Getting a satisfactory outcome to that, I think, will be of immense importance in allowing us to move forward to vary the tax in a way that will bring, in my opinion, thousands and thousands of new jobs. The other issue of immediate impact is the need for this administration to keep to the commitments that were made. And whenever I challenged Owen Patterson about this, and I wasn't the only one to challenge him, Peter Robinson challenged him also, Owen Patterson went into a meeting with some of the representatives of the trade unions at Hillsborough Castle, and the trade unions came out and effectively proclaimed that Owen Patterson said he would stand by the commitments that were made by the previous Labour administration. And then whenever we challenged him on that, he, in a very convoluted way, tried to give the impression that towards the back end of the agreed programme, vis-a-vis something like 2015 to 2017, that the British government would deliver on the commitments. Well, if you consider that in the first 3 years of the executive over which we had stewardship, we spent something on average of £1.5 billion on important infrastructural projects, in around 4 to 4.5 billion, £4,500 million. We built more schools than at any time in the history of the northern state in that period. So if we don't have the British government keeping to the commitments that were made, I think it's going to have a very severe impact on the construction industry over the next couple of years. So what we need to do is get the British government to honour the commitments that were made. And we are continuing to press both David Cameron and Owen Patterson on the issue. The other thing that needs to be said is this. It's very interesting that the new Taoiseach is travelling to London next Monday to meet with David Cameron. Peter Robinson and I have met with David Cameron once since he became Prime Minister. He obviously doesn't want to meet with us because he knows we have a grievance and that it's a grievance that needs to be resolved. So I think it's absolutely ridiculous that here we are, almost a year into the new administration, and a British Prime Minister is avoiding meeting with Peter Robinson and myself on a matter of vital importance to our economy and our construction industry over the coming years.